Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Horizon Europe Brokerage event on explainable and robust AI. My name is Samrat Kumar. I work for EURAXESS, and it's an enormous honor for us to present you this exclusive brokerage event on the call, which we're going to present today. This is a call which has been co-funded by the EU's Horizon Europe program and the Indian government. It's a very, I think, a key area and also a priority topic for both EU and India. And we have quite a huge interest on this call. We have seen it from the registrations, but we have also seen that we have today quite a large number of pitching flash presentations. So it looks that there is a very keen interest on collaborating between Europe and India on this particular call. And this webinar is brought to you in collaboration with the EU delegation to India and the Department of Science, Technology, Government of India. So I'm very happy to welcome our speaker who will give the opening remarks, which is Mr. Pierrick Villon-Achida. He is the first counselor and the head of the Research Innovation section at the EU delegation. Pierrick, very good morning to you, or good afternoon, of course, in India. Pierrick, this is an important call. This is an important topic, AI, especially about the, the trustworthy and robust application of those kind of systems. And of course, it's a very important key topic for EU-India collaboration, right?
Yes, thank you very much, Samrat, and welcome to all the colleagues here. I was saying that the number of participants is keeping increasing. As you said, Samrat, the call is co-funded with the DST, and it's a 15 million call on the EU side, and where we anticipate 2 or 3 very large projects, so between 5 and 7.5 million euros. So it's pretty large. It would be important when you explain to the colleagues who joined today, what is a typical EU project, what is expected. Because as I said, the first element is that it's very large. It can have academia, business, and so on. I see today that several colleagues are joining, 70 right now, but I also see European names or European first names. So it's very encouraging if on the call you start to have today a discussion with including the Europeans, so not only the Indian colleagues who are interested, but maybe start the pre-phase of matchmaking. This is a second call that the EU and government of India have published on AI. As you said, AI is a very wide area, but the EU is always very specific. And that's why when you will make a proposal, you have to really understand how the experts will review your proposal. Try to be, as we say when you were doing a PhD or a bachelor or master, be on scope. Don't be outside, because your marking will be not good if you are outside of the objective of the call. So read the call very, very well, because AI is by definition wide. What kind of technologies, what kind of TRL they want, what kind of partnering. Are there some good applications that you have in India of value for Europeans? What my final comment here, we all know that it's very hard to write a project proposal. It's not like if you want to come to Europe on a fellowship, it's very hard, because principally it's a lot of money paid by the government to help companies, academics. So you have to be careful how you write it, very sharply, very precise. At the same time, you give examples and you give a thread, why you should be selected and why not another one, or why your technology is better. It's very competitive, but Indian partners make it through. So I really look forward. We had 2 proposals selected last year on an AI call. So we know how to guide you. And in my team today, we will have Dr. Vivek Dam, So together with Dr. Samrat Kumar, they will be able to do a little bit of hand-holding to guide you. So today is a first call, major call. Continue to be in touch with Samrat for further requests, questions, and we try to help as much as possible. Myself, I am based in Delhi, so I will pass you the floor. It's very hot right now in Delhi. I think I'm not sure it's 42 outside or 44 Celsius, but we are here to help. And now I see it's 79 participants. So all the best. And I'm sure that out of the 79, some Indian will make a good proposal with Europeans. Thank you. And back to you, Samrat.
Thank you so much, Pierrick, for being here and stressing the importance of this call and the collaboration which EU and India have in this area. And I'm also, of course, very happy to welcome our counterpart from the Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Mahak Garg, at this Scientist C at International Cooperation Division. Are you with us? Yes, she's here with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Mack, for joining. And we would like also to hear you, the importance of this co-funded call, and also especially for, of course, for the Indian participants who are interested, to apply. Thank you. The floor is yours. Ma'am, you're unmuted.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Samrat. My very best good afternoon to all the dear friends who are sitting on the other side. And I would like to say that we had a very strong relationship till now with the EU, and we want to continue this strong relationship, strong, successful collaboration in many fronts in future as well. And one such example recently, what we had is in water sector, where we addresses the contemporary challenges. This is just, I'm telling you all what we had really came out with the last call that we had with EU. It was really successful. We had collectively established nearly more than 60 technologies, and many of them are ready for market uptake and deployment as well. There were field demonstration sites, huge capacity building scope as well. We had training to given training to, we had developed 30 PhDs, given training to young researchers and graduates, and a lot of joint publications. There were development and demonstration of technologies. Patents came out of the joint projects, and the percentage of publications rose from 20 to 30%. So it was a very successful call last, which we had jointly. So for today, where we are gathered here for the next call, which is already now open on the DST website, is related to artificial intelligence. I would like to say to all the participants that please read the call document very carefully, and do go through all the eligibility criteria and what we actually require, because many proposals get declined at the screening stage because of the lack of the important and required documents, basic documents, which is required. And for that, you really need to fulfill all the criteria, and you have to submit all the documents. All the details are given in the call notice. And so I put stop to my voice now, and I'll say all the best to all the participants. We are looking forward to have this collaboration with EU in AI as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your encouraging words and also stressing the the great history of successful collaboration between the DSD and the European Commission. You mentioned the water projects, which were very successful, but also now today's call, I think, is very promising. And as you said, it's a very technical call. There's a very carefully to read everything, but there's a strong encouragement, for this collaboration, both from the European partners and Indian partners. And with that, we go straight into the aspects, the scope of this call, and especially the technical aspects, the eligibility criteria. And I would like to welcome Dr. Vivek Dham from the EU delegation, who is going to now walk you a bit through this call text. Of course, it's just giving you a gist. There's a lot which you have to read and find out on your own, but the next session with Dr. Vivek is just to give you a broader general idea, the background of the call, and also what are the aspects for eligibility. Thank you, Dr. Vivek. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Samrat, because I will just try to make Samrat, could you please confirm whether it is visible, full screen?
It is visible, Vivek. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Samrat. Good afternoon and good morning to the European colleagues. I'm Vivek Dham. I'm an advisor at the Research and Innovation section at the EU delegation. So on behalf of European Commission and EU delegation, I welcome you all to this a webinar and brokerage event on explainable and robust AI, the call which is earmarked by DST for a co-funding. So I will give you two part of presentation. My first presentation will be about the scope of the call, and my second part of presentation will cover about the modalities of application. But at the beginning, I must confess you all that I'm not a AI expert. Actually, my DG Connect colleagues unfortunately has not able to join, and then they asked me to pass the message. So I'm trying to do it as easy as possible. I may not be 100% correct in my technical terms, but I hope you will apologize me with the errors if any I have. So to begin with the specific details of the call identification number, that is where all the EU calls for proposal work. So this is any call text you need to find out. Please use the topic ID number, which is easy and most reliable information to find exact call details. This specific call is typed action as in research and innovation action. I will come to that in my later stage. This is the single mode, single stage proposal application. The call is already open on 23rd of April. It will close on 18th of September 2024. And as Pierre Record already mentioned, from the European side, the commitment for this particular call is approximately 15 million euros. We anticipate 2 to 3 proposals to fund. It could range from maximum 7.5 million euros, but it is just an indicative. It is not an limiting factor. You can have more or less. It is up to the consortium to decide. But this is the indicative figure had given by the European Commission. So what is the expected outcome from this specific call? Basically, the call text mentioned it should we anticipate the outcome in two areas. One is enhanced AI system capabilities, and the second is on the improved AI system transparency. So these are the two main expected outcomes we anticipate from this particular call. The scope of the call basically is very wide, and we wanted to achieve the specific goals, which the impact and the the outcome of this specific call. So the scope of this particular call is quite broad and open. So it is up to the scientific community to define as per the requirement and the best judgment, how best you can find the solution for the defined challenge by the European Commission. It concerns, it centers around the development of trustworthy AI solutions capable of operating reliable and real world conditions. This solution should provide meaningful, explainable, address fairness concerns, and give an alignment with the European rights and obligations. Ultimately, this initiative is designed to create an human-centric AI that reflects the needs and values of citizens, which ensures the effective governance of AI technologies. So this is this in a keywords which I can summarize from the scope of the call. Basically, the objectives are again quite clear and well defined in the call text. The development of novel methods for solution that functions beyond the ideal circumstances, ensure transparency and the capacity to provide the meaningful explanations, predict the operational limits of AI systems, advance AI algorithm for reliable while maintaining acceptable and accuracy of the efficiency. The focus of this particular, again, it is the learning research ensuring long-term lasting impact. So this is the overall objective of this particular call. The commission had given some guidelines for methods, but we are completely open for new ideas, new methodologies. So just to give you some guidance, the commission had defined this methodology in the call text. But again, I repeat, it is not limited. You can expand it, you can elaborate different ideas and methodologies. So the data efficient learning, transformers and reinforcement learning is one of the method you can adopt. Again, the federal and edge learning, automated machine learning could be adopted. Hybrid approach such as model based methodologies and neuromorphic computing could be used. Continual learning, active learning and long-term learning, multiple model learning, natural language processing and more can be considered while preparing the proposal as a methodology. Again, as Pierre had mentioned, these are multidisciplinary call. We highly encourage participation of different stakeholders from different sectors and disciplines to this particular call. We encourage participation of social science and humanities in specific call to address the challenge what has been given. That also addressing gender, racial, and other bias issues which could be addressed to the social sciences aspect. Similarly, to this particular parallel the call, there is also a parallel call. Open innovation challenge is also launched. So once the proposals are selected, we anticipate the synergy between ongoing projects so that the better impact and outcomes could be expected at the end of the project. Again, the ethical principles is a core of this particular call. The collaboration is essential in this particular call, and that is why involvement of various disciplines are highly encouraged. The ethical principles are integral part of this particular call, and we need an adopted. This needs to be adopted at the early stage of the proposal. Respect the fundamental rights, focus on robust safety and reliability, alignment with the European AI approach. So these are the some guidelines, some areas which the Commission had already put forward. But again, please go through the call text very carefully, because these are very broad areas and we don't want to decode too much. It is up to the scientific community to envisage the problem, how best you can find the solution. So this is my first part of my presentation about the scope of the call. Again, this call highly encourage international participation. You will read that this call specifically target India. The India's participation is highly encouraged in this particular call. And second, most important aspect of this particular call is about the specific conditions. We anticipate the project could start from the TRL 2 to 3 and could end with the TRL 4 or 5 by end of the completion of the project. So this is a very specific topic. Condition has been mentioned in the call, so please adhere the conditions. So commission already had given the guidelines for self assessment of technology readiness level. So I'm going to leave this particular slides with the participants, but the specific document on TRL level is also available on the funding and tender portal. So this is where I will stop with my first section of the presentation about the scope of the call, and I will now give you the modalities of cooperation. This is a joint presentation with Dr. Mahak Garg from the DST. So I will be just quickly go through a different technical and application procedures which has you need to take care at the time of submission of the proposal or preparation of the proposal. So these are the points I will cover in next 20 minutes. So as I mentioned, the call is already open. It is launched on 23rd of April and it will close on 18th of September. This call has been defined under the action research and innovation action. For the Europeans, it is much more easy to understand that the Commission defines different levels of call based on the TRL level, but also it guarantees the different funding rates. Under the research and innovation action, the 100% EU funding is covered to all entities participating in the project. So this is the funding and tender portal. So if you have to refer any documents, any specific call text, I strongly advise only go through the funding and tender portal text, because this is the most updated and official text of the European Commission. So please go through this particular call text only through funding and tender portal uh, availability. Again, Dr. Mahak already mentioned that the similar call has been published on the DST website. They had given very comprehensive guidelines how to prepare a proposal if you want to have a DST co-funding for the Indian participant. Is the same call. The requirement of document is different. I will come to that part in my next section. So basic eligibility for Horizon proposal is very important. These are multilateral projects. So the consortium, if you are trying to apply for a project proposal, make sure the consortium has 3 legal entities from the European member state or associated country, independent from each other, and each entity should be established. Those 3 basically entities should be established in 3 different countries. At least from those, one has to be from the member state, and 2 entities could be from member state or from the associated country. And in addition to these 3 requirement, the 3 basic requirement of member state or associated country, the consortium can add n number of participants from member state as well as from the associated country, as well as from across the globe including India, because this call also includes the India. So this on an average, the multilateral Horizon proposals includes 8 to 15, sometimes 22. Even climate change, we have 45 entities participating in a project proposal. So these are mega projects, big projects. We anticipate a big impact, and that is where the basic eligibility admissibility criteria is 3 legal entities from 3 European member state or associated countries is required. So who are those member state and associated countries? So the Europeans are quite familiar with that, but just for an Indian perspective, I'm giving you that there are 27 EU member state which are listed on your left side, and then there are 18 associated countries with Horizon Europe program. So this year there are New Zealand and UK is associated with the Horizon Europe program. So you can find partners from 45 countries which are eligible and can fulfill the basic eligibility criteria. And today there are quite a number of experts and the scientists and PIs available are presenting a flash presentation. So this is where you can find the partners from basic partners from these 45 countries. In addition, the government government of India also underlines what is their eligibility condition. Basically, the Indian participation in this particular call is not mandatory, but if you want to be co-funded by the DST, so obviously one or more Indian entities to be part of this particular proposal. And out of, if there are more than one more entity participating, one entity should be from the public funded institution. That is the prerequisite, that is the condition which has been proposed by the DST. So the proposal may include minimum 3 Europeans, one Indian, and one more or more than one non-European country partners. So it is up to the consortium which type of partners, what disciplines, from what countries you need to identify to be an competitive proposal. Please check the eligibility condition in call text. Again, it is quite well defined. We will be also available if you need any help to find out the eligibility criteria. So who can participate from the European side under the Horizon Europe criteria? Any academic institution, it could be public, private, higher education institutions, public, private, non-profit research organization, the European, international European organization can participate. So non-academics partners such as startups, SMEs, industry, NGOs, basically those expert, those entities who are able to give their excellence and services to define and contribute to the specific problem solving, are all encouraged to participate in the consortium of this particular proposal. From Indian side, the government of India had very specifically mentioned that central or state supported organization, it could be public or private, academic or research institute, can participate in the project proposal. National and state funded R&D labs can participate, and scientific performing R&D performing Indian industry may participate on voluntary basis on own funding. So I will come to the funding part now. Who is eligible for funding from the European side? As I mentioned, this program belong to that 45 countries. So 27 European member state are the core program beneficiaries. So any entities from member state or associated countries, which I already showed on my previous slide, are automatically eligible for the funding. In addition to that, European Commission provides a funding to 120 low and middle income countries through Horizon Europe program. It could be from Bangladesh, it could be Pakistan, any Southeast Asian country or Africa, you name it. The whole list has been given. I had already given a link for the countries which are automatically funded, will receive, are eligible for Horizon funding. So those entities can be included in the to the proposal if you find them essential. In addition, because this is about the 45 plus 120 countries are automatically funded, but there is a group of countries which are either high economies or what we call as a big economies, are not automatically funded by the European Commission, and that is why the DST, the government of India, is providing a co-funding to an Indian entities. So those countries are US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Korea. So these are the countries are having their own funding mechanism established with the European Commission. So when you'll apply for this particular call, it is guaranteed that if you are successful, the government of India will provide a co-funding to the Indian entities. So this is a very assuring commitment from the government of India to prepare a competitive proposal. So the Indian entities, again, the co-funding conditions, basically the Indian entities to compile terms and conditions of funding of the DST, which is already mentioned. All the application forms, the financial application forms are already available in Word format. The link I had given in my proposal again. The proposal not submitted to both the funding agencies, that is European Commission and DST, will not, if you are including the Indian entities and requesting a DST funding, then it is mandatory that the same identical proposals needs to be submitted at the both the funding agencies. The co-funding is subject to the positive evaluation of Indian government as well. The Indian entities, if they are selected, they will not sign a European grant agreement. Instead, they will be considered as an associated partner. I will come to that part later on. And the maximum duration the Indian government will fund up to 3 years. So, who is eligible for the Government of India funding? Basically, public and private academic institution, universities, research institutions, national labs, all are eligible for a DST funding. They must have all well-established research supporting system. Submission of proof of establishment is necessary, otherwise you will not qualify the basic requirement of the Government of India, then you will be disqualified. Make sure your institution, the Government of India's institution, have already in place the PFMS system, that is Public Finance Management System. That is again a very important requirement. And the Indian industry can participate. The DST welcome the participation, but the Indian industry needs to bring their own fund to be part of the particular proposal. Again, the Government of India, the DST will provide 100% grant in aid. It will cover all kind of classical R&D project cost, that is capital expenditures, manpower, consumables, travels, contingency overheads. All this classical has been covered under the DST funding program. The DST will go up to 1.5 crore per project. That is approximately, it could be little less or more, but it's at the end of the day, it is requirement of the project. But this is the amount which the DST had already flagged in their website. So the application must jointly develop by the European and Indian and other partners. So that is very important. The submission of electronic proposal at the funding and tender portal to the Commission, and same copy of that proposal to be submitted at the DST in their EPMS, sorry, online portal. I will just underline the important fact, because we had incurred difficulties. The project proposal should be coordinated only and only by the European entity, not by the Indian entity, because the Indian entities are participating as an associated partner. So please let the European entity to coordinate the project, and you will be leading and work package. That is no issue, but all the financement of the European Commission goes to the European entity. So please make sure that the coordination ship is with the European partner. So make sure all the annexes of the DST, the Indian rupee requirement, is completely fulfilled and it is available. Again, the submission of the proposal, the European Commission, those who are familiar, the part 1 and part 2. The part 1 is more like a structured format, and part B is more like scientific proposal, freehand proposal download document, which can be accessed from the portal. The same proposal you will submit to Department of Science and Technology in their EPMS online system. In addition to that, the financial documents which the DST had asked for the budget break should be included in the DST portal. So again, the finding the partners, I will not go into the details, but we are organizing quite regularly the brokerage events. The NCPs in European countries are also very helpful. EURAXESS is also providing a lot of support to find the partners. We want the best teams across the globe to come together to find the solutions to the problems which has been defined. So again, the consortium look like three entities, legal entities from three different European countries should be part of it. One or more, Indian participants are highly encouraged. It should be multidisciplinary, cross-sectoral, cross-border participation, and the project coordination ship should be, again, I'm repeating, with the European entity only. The Indian PI, if there are more than one participant from India, the Indian side can nominate one nodal point as in communication with the DST. So they term as an legal leading scientific coordinator to the DST, which will have a single contact point to communicate with the funders. So again, the IPR issue is very pressing issue all the time we come across, but the guidelines has been well defined from the European side as well as the Indian side. So I urge all the participants to make specific emphasis and go through the IP related issues at the time of proposal formation. And if your proposal is selected, all the IP related issues will be addressed and defined in the consortium agreement of the European and Indian entities. So application form, as I mentioned, I will not repeat part A and B. The page limit is 45 pages. So this is the new template and it is available on the funding and tender portal. So please, that is why I included this specific site. So the page limit is 45 page, and in addition, you can have an additional annexes for funding, lump sum amounts, financial support. That is for the mainly for the European. The Indians will not give all the financial details to European Commission. They will only give a lump sum amount, how much the cost of European Indians for the particular project. So as I mentioned, the Indians will not be funded by the um, European Commission, so it will be funded by Government of India. So you will not sign any specific documents. You will be considered as an associated partner. So you will Indian entities will sign a DST agreement, and the Europeans will sign the European Commission grant agreement. I will not go into these details now. This is the funding on the part A. The Indians, I had already given a mark on my left side, that the Indians will marked as an associated partner. You just have to give an total amount in in euros, how much approximately amount you will be required to be, and that is mentioned in the budget proposal. But that will not be counted as a EU contribution. So this specific new addition in the budget needs to be addressed at the time of submission of the proposal. So again, the evaluation criteria, it has been the proposals will be evaluated in three important criteria: excellence, impact, and implementation. Once the European Commission complete the evaluation, the Government of India will evaluate the proposals which are successfully shortlisted by the European Commission, and they will share the results with the Indian side. Uh, Again, the timeline, we will, once the call is closed, the European Commission is bound to complete the entire process of signing agreement and release within 8 months. So the call will close somewhere in September. So as per the timeline, you can start somewhere if you are selected in the month of May or June, depending on the consortium agreement and the grant agreement signing process. But that is the tentative timeline you can consider if you are selected. I will leave this source of information with you. Again, these are the login proposals. How do you do that? And this is very classical. If you don't understand those, please take a help of European partners. They are quite well informed and about this particular process. In case you are not applying for this any proposal in this particular call, because we receive hundreds and thousands of proposal under the Horizon Europe, we are also expecting a lot of international experts from outside. So if you think you have skills, capacity, and experience to evaluate such big proposals, please register in our database as an experts. If you the selection is based on the computational based selection, so if you are selected, the commission not only values your expertise, but commission also pays quite a handsome amount to the evaluators. On an average 4 to 5,000 euros are paid per evaluation. So if you are not submitting a proposal and you want to be a part of the expert panel, please do feel to register yourself. This is the team since last 1.5 year. We are working together to make the call for proposals and putting all the modalities on place. So Dr. Mahak is always available for any Indian queries, so she can be approached on the email address. So I think I will stop it here with the modalities, and I hope I have not taken too much of time. Samrat, over to you.
Thank you so much, Vivek, for a very comprehensive explanation of the call, and especially also the eligibility criteria, I think, which are, also important to know. And, Vivek, the good news is we have already a quite engaging interaction in the chat. There is already some networking going on. Colleagues are presenting themselves and also exchanging, their expertise and their contacts. So this is a very good platform which we are providing today to find each other, to do a bit of a matchmaking. And we also have now the possibility to ask questions to Dr. Vivek. And I already, Vivek, see in the Q&A we have some questions, and let's see how much we can answer. But if you also want to ask directly to Dr. Vivek, you can raise your hand and we can allow you to ask your question to him directly. We have a question, Vivek, about the DST document is saying that 100% of the approved budget costs to the following two categories of organizations, such as Government of India supported or recognized public or private academic institutions or research organization labs. Means this excludes any non-governmental and non-academic organization, such as privately held business. Could you please confirm this? The funding?
Yeah, so that is Dr. Mahak is already there. So any academic institution, research institutions, could be public or private, it is automatically funded. The government of India will not fund any private businesses or the industry. It is already mentioned. But Dr. Mahak, you are already on, so please you can also pitch in your comments.
Yeah, Dr. Vivek, I agree with you.
Okay. What about the European side? Like, does the Commission fund companies, private sector?
Yes. Yeah. So from European side, there is no as such an categorization. They fund all kinds of entities, and it is a research and innovation action. So the funding is 100% grant in aid.
Okay. You already mentioned it in your presentation, Vivek, about Indian partners becoming PI. Can there be a co-PI, or is the PI has to be from the European partners?
No, the PI is no issue. The only thing, the project should be coordinated. The coordination of the project should be from the Europe, because the European Commission transfer the entire European funding in euros. So we had a couple of issues. People had India taken a coordination ship, and with the financial regulations from India, it is very difficult to redistribute the euros to different countries. And this is not and again the Indians are not signing the European grant agreement, so they are coming as an associated partner. So the coordination ship with the Europe. But as far as the research project proposal is concerned, they can be work package leader, they can be a lead in a specific task. It's up to the consortium to decide. Only for the financial reason, the coordination ship of the project proposal should be with the Europe.
Okay. We have a question from Mr. Sachin Jain. I think it would be good, Mr. Sachin, if you could just ask your question directly, because there are two questions you have. So we give you the chance to speak directly.
Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Samrat and Dr. Vivek. So I think the first part of the question Dr. Vivek and Dr. Mahek had already responded to. The second part was that, so in case there is two scopes of work, right? So can we execute as an entity, some part of that can be executed from India entity and some part can be executed by the Europe entity. Is that possible?
Yes, the task and the scope of the work, how do you want to address what work, how much workload each you want to share, it is up to the consortium. We don't intervene in the designing of the proposal, so it is possible. Sure. There is no as such limitation.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Doctor. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Samrat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Samrat and Vivek. Adding to Sachin's question, I'm also from LTI Mindtree, so I'm just clarifying. So we are split in Netherlands and in India. So we may, let's say we participate in two work packages where one is executed in Europe and the other one is executed in India. Of course, we'd like to have funding for the European part, and this one for the Indian part, we will not get funding, right? So this is what the direction of the question was. Is that something possible, or should we look at moving everything
So
to India?
I will get. Is it in private industry or it is an research institution?
We are a public large enterprise industry.
Okay. So so the Indian entities, because it is based in India and the legal formation, so they will have to participate on their own funding. But the European side, you will able to get the funding from the European Commission.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's good that we could clarify this. One more question I'm seeing here in the Q&A, Vivekji, is about, actually there are two questions from Mr. Enrique Pelayo. Question number one, should each proposal include both development in robust AI and development in explainable AI? Question number one.
Yeah, so because I'm not a subject expert, but when I also read the call, you can have one or both. Is up to the consortium to decide. But if you have very specific question, please write to us. I will also confirm from my colleagues in writing so that I don't give an miscalculated answer. But as per my understanding and reading, you can address one or you can address both. Is up to the consortium, but it is better to drop a line and we will get confirmation from headquarters.
Yeah, and I think the second question is quite in this similar to the first one. Should all the suggested methods be covered, two of them, or could be only one of them? For instance, a proposal could be focused only in robustness and explainable AI applied to reinforcement learning. Yeah,
I understand. So similar questions we received in past call as well. It is up to the consortium. These are just guidelines. You can also have a new methodologies. It's not limited. It is not at all limited. You can use one, two, or you can have a new method. As far as the scope and the impact you are addressing, there is no limitation for the methodologies. And again, it is very well defined in the call text as well. So as I'm not a subject expert, so I request because you are better placed to interpret the call text.
Okay. Okay, one more question, Vivekji. Hi, I'm a research organization in India. I would like to know that how do we access the resource persons at the European side? Is there a list of persons with the kind of problems they're trying to propose?
If I understand, it is he's looking for the partners. Is that is the question? Different.
I think
because there are two types of resources. One is resources to formulate the technicalities. Then the NCPs can help. But normally the European member state, the technical aspects, the NCP can definitely guide. But if you are looking for a partners from different set of skills, then again I mention today's webinar is one kind of a opportunity. But if you go on the call text of the Horizon Horizon Europe portal, below the call there is also partner search. There are already 58 people had already expressed the interest. Either they are looking for partners or they are ready to join a consortium. So you can also express the interest of your expertise or idea. Based on that, you can formulate the consortium. But as a funder, we are not in direct matchmaking because that is a conflict of interest. A lot of request comes to us, but because of our strict guidelines, we are not into a matchmaking. We leave the people to discuss after the events. We are sharing the email addresses of the people who are interested in each other. So that happens behind the scene. The funders will not intervene.
Okay, I think that is quite clear. Thank you, Vivekji. If there are any more questions, we have a few minutes, but from our panelists, our presenters, if they would like to ask something to Dr. Vivek, or we can go over to the next session of the event.
Just before I close, Dr. Mahak, can you just elaborate a little bit of DST EPMS funding portal, because a lot of people struggle to find the last minute access. So make sure you are submitting the proposal, because the DST, like suppose the 18th of September is the deadline, they will keep the specific application submission portal open for this particular call till 7 days. So, Dr. Mahak, can you just elaborate, because we don't want a last minute proposal submission after the closure?
Sure. The call is getting closed on 18th of September at EU side. Okay, so we have mentioned somewhere in the text that within 7 days you have to submit it to DST portal, that is epms.gov.in. So call is getting, when you will open this EPMS link, and you will find the link to apply for the proposal, you will be able to see that the call is getting closed here on September 27th at 11:59 p.m. IST. So that is how it will goes.
Thank you, Magji. Thank you. Yeah, Samrat, we can start with the pitching. Yeah, I think Dr. Vijay has a question, I think.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Dham. Recently, we submitted a Eureka proposal wherein it was a similar construct, right? So countries from EU or UK or other associated partners could submit. Now, in that case, this application was also split, wherein one part we had to submit from Netherlands, one part from the UK, and one common application. So from that experience, based on that experience here, I'm trying to correlate and ask this question. What we had to do was, for the Netherlands side, we had to, the partners had to write the proposal in such a way that it was going to be conducive for the Dutch research and progress of the technology. And for the UK side, we had to pitch it the same way, that it's going to help the UK economy and so on. And together, the proposal which we submitted was like a common one, how it's going to enhance the technology and economy, right? In this case, when we submit from the Indian side in a consortia, do we need to focus on the Indian aspects of how this is going to help on the science and technology and economy in India? Or do we just need to submit what we submit for the Common Horizon Europe application? I hope that was clear.
So
it was a long one.
It's very clear, Dr. Vijay. Yeah, no, if you see the call text, when it will you will go through the call text, I keep on reading, and every time I interpret a more different way. This specific call is targeting India because there is already EU-India Trade and Technology Council on the digital aspect as well. So you may also note down EU-India TTC Working Group 1. Okay, so that you get a little bit of a reference what they are doing in the digital aspects. But like a Eureka here, the entire proposal is one proposal. You can add a Indian component into the proposal as well, but it has to be one consolidated proposal to be submitted at the European Commission, and same identical proposal to be submitted at the DST as well, with additional financial requirement, because you will not give all the financial details to the European Commission because you are associated partner. So except the financial detail, only lump sum amount you will mention. But as far as the scientific scope of the proposal, it is up to the consortium how well balanced you want to do with the Indian context or global context. We will not intervene into that. We had given a full freedom to the scientific community.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You are mute, Samrat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
There are a few more questions in the Q&A. Maybe you could have a look at them, and we continue with the program.
Yeah, please go ahead, Samrat, because we have today a lot of presentations.
Exactly,
and you have a tough task to manage the time now. Thank you for your attention, and we are available for any help, assistance you may need. So all the best, and we anticipate a good number of and quality proposals from Europe and India. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vivek and Dr. Mahak. As Dr. Vivek already said, we have a very large number of presentations today. So my job is to keep the time management. I'm not so good at it. Vivek is much better than me, but today the task is with me. And in the meantime, Vivek will in the background, try to answer questions if they come along. Please send them in the Q&A, not in the chat. It makes it much easier, our life easier, if we have them all in one platform. But now I would like to go over to the flash presentations. Here we have now a very good, interesting mix of researchers both from Europe and from India who are very seriously interested in the call, who are maybe already part of a consortium or building up, looking for partners and want to present their research idea, their project expertise. And I would like to welcome our first speaker is Professor Diego Liberati from the National Research Council of Italy. Professor Liberati, if you are with us, could you kindly share your screen?
Need to get out from another conference. Can you switch me to the second talk, please?
Could you repeat that, Professor?
I am in another conference. I have to get out. Could you switch me to the second talk and I get out?
Yeah, of course. We will change the order, and then we have our next speaker who's lined up is Mr. Deepak Katkoria from Logik Dev, Austria. Mr. Deepak, you're with us. Please, could you unmute yourself and share your presentation?
Yeah, sure. So, good afternoon, everyone, and good morning, team or the people from Europe. So, I hope you can hear me. And sorry, my video is not working today. So, let me share the screen. Great. So, yeah, we are a SME working in a AI domain for some time and have a quite good experience with the Horizon project. Just recently, we submitted a 7 million euro project with the 27 partner. And in this call, we are sincerely interested to bridge some gap. And that's why the project name or the idea we have put like a AI universal bridge. So most of you are already like aware of AI. So there are several domains which are never ending. So if you take a language based AI or if you take a video based AI, there are so many algorithms coming day by day, and there is non-stop or never ending kind of development is ongoing. So what we are doing here with the project, that we are merging at least four different kind of material or four kind of verticals into one domain and have a selected kind of algorithms. So not going with the several algorithms, and we are bringing a bridge between the language, between the audio and the video and the processing, and where we are using the hardware also, software also, and the firmware as well, where you can see the main stress of the requirement is the security and uh, the how we bring together the accountability, and that's why we are targeting different blocks. So it's not purely software or kind of model based, it's a hardware also. So where we have a blockchain also, and we have a cryptography based kind of login as well, so to secure the processing. And what I would like to ask the interested party to contact us, so we can start the dialogue with you to understand your skill, to understand your interest, and we can bring together one consortium where we have a right skill of the people to achieve this. Apart from that, Yes, means usually what happens with the big call that sometimes we merge with other as well. So if you have some skill and you would like to merge with us or you want us to merge with us, we are open for that. And that is the main reason that we go for the kind of joint collaboration, because this is very competitive call and it's very hard. So that's why if we complement each other, it's better for us to have a win-win situation. So you can see this is my contact detail. So please feel free to share your idea, your queries, and any kind of interest you would like to add on here. So looking forward for your questions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deepak, and for presenting your company and what you could bring into the consortium. I hope Professor Liberati is able to hear us and to share his screen. Okay, Professor Liberati. Okay, it seems he's...
I'm here, I'm back. I'm back. And I sent you my presentation, but maybe you don't have it on your screen. Do you have it? Or should I share my screen?
As you like, Professor, like both is fine for us.
If you can show, it's easier for me. It's just two slides, so it's not difficult to show.
Okay, I think the slides are up. Hold on. Okay. So you can just tell me when I should move the slides, please.
I don't see the slide yet. You can see me maybe now.
So I have now shared your slides on my screen, so I'm not able to see anything except the slides. Vivek, can you just confirm that the slides are visible?
I don't see the slide. I'm sorry.
No, slides are not visible. Sorry.
Okay. I'll have to try again. Sorry for that. Okay. And now?
Now it's perfect.
Yeah, okay. Please go ahead, Professor Liberati.
Here I am. Thank you for hosting me. Thank you so much. My name is Diego Liberati. I'm mainly a director with the National Cancer Research of Italy, but I'm in a joint venture with the Polytechnic University of Milano, where we are hosted. You can find my direction here. And the title of my presentation will be Machine Learning of Understandable Rule by Animal Clustering. In fact, it will be a bit more complex because what I really suggest is to integrate statistical inference as machine learning, but just with understandable rules. So my machine learning does not just is not just able to do, but also to explain like a good student. And I do integrate this explainable artificial intelligence with the standard mathematical modeling. We have we have kind of pioneers of this technology. The first paper in the bibliography presented this technique, which is a kind of binary networks that is able to infer rules in the predicative logic if then else. Thus, we can do this integration with the priors. And for instance, we can do drug discovery and biomolecular modeling, not atom by atom as in the standard Schrödinger model, but domain by domain, simplifying the tool because the variables are much less, so we don't even need supercomputing. When problems are simpler, like discriminating myeloid from unsolved leukemias, we can even resort to a kind of hyperplane clustering, which is performed by a cascade, maybe iterated, of the standard key means and PCA that is even able to outperform a famous seminal paper of in MIT in science, and it was useful also to be able to confirm a dubbed pathway in a very rare form of leukemia. In that case, the number of patients were so little that it was necessary to increase the statistical power of the tool, which is one of the ability of our approach. And finally, when you don't have, we don't have just shots, just data, but signals in times, you can do a regression via piecewise of a fine autoregression paper approach, which identify fight forward instead that the usual back forward and inversion and Tikhonov regularization. So it is able to do very fast again any kind of approach, like for instance, to revisit some of the usual thing done as in 6 and 7 reference, and we are even almost able to reconstruct the ectopic focus in the earth, non-invasive, by just the electrocardiogram map on the thorax, which was invented by one of my master, Emilio Gatti, almost Nobel Prize for the bubble chamber, for the great Parmesan cardiologist Bruno Taccardi. So we have these 3 tools which are very powerful. Some of them are even very simple, and they're very powerful in most, even almost every kind of application. We did some application, but we are looking for more. I was in Bangalore to a biochemistry conference celebrating the 60 years of molecular dynamics a few weeks ago, and I enjoyed very much the interaction with the Indian people. I had even an Indian doctoral student that asked me to come as a postdoc. So I would like to strengthen interaction with India, and I would like to have project partners, especially to find a nice application together, because we don't have wet lab, we just have software and intelligence lab, but also partners that could complement our tools are very welcome. That's my idea. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, and it's good to know that you have been to India and you want to strengthen the collaboration with India, through projects, but also, maybe through supervising postdoctoral researchers.
Absolutely, yes. My father worked as the director of Pirelli Tires company in Italy. He was used to travel a lot, and he said to me that India is the most fascinating country in the world. I should have gone. And I went and I confirmed his feeling. They are poor, but they are helping each other, and they are great brains. It has been a wonderful experience, and I want to improve that.
Thank you so much, Professor Liberati. That is very encouraging, and good luck with finding partners for this project from India. Now we move
Thank
to...
you. Thank you for letting me do. Thank you.
Thank you. And our next speaker is Professor Snehanshu Saha from the Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani. Professor Saha, thank you so much for joining, and you already put up your presentation perfect. Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Samrat. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm delighted to be here and to be able to network with like-minded colleagues across Europe. Our presentation today is to just briefly show what we have been able to do and what we are proposing to do in the context of robust and interpretable AI inferencing, right? And we will be harping on a very specific technique that we have developed bottoms up here at BITS Pilani Goa campus, and we wish to further, continue working in that area. So the title is Quantiles are Versatile. So robust and interpretable machine learned system using quantile-based uncertainty quantification. So the main broad thematic area is uncertainty quantification. And the sub-areas are robustness as well as interpretability. The interpretability comes as an added incentive of the foundational models that we are trying to build here. I am presenting, and we have a fairly competent group on uncertainty quantification here at the BITS Palani Goa campus. So I'm not sure why it's not moving. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, so you just think about several application scenarios in transportation and logistic domain, or in the domain of traffic safety, car monitoring, so on and so forth, where either, I mean, due to and this is very much from the Indian context, right? I mean, due to the incapability of recalibration of the hardware, existing hardware, where certain manufacturers, certain inventory owners, they do not want to change their hardware. They don't want to change their cameras, right? Okay. Or, there are some poor lighting conditions and so on and so forth, right? Things that you cannot, things that are not under your control, right? So there, I mean, if you want to do certain kind of object detection in the sense, and also want to, detect changes in out of distribution detection, right? And certain objects which are in a poorly lit area and so on and so forth, right? So these are applications that directly affect industrial systems, inventories, and so on, right? Where if you are using an existing pre-trained model, I mean, everybody uses yellow V8, right? Okay, you have to recalibrate the model. So there is a base classifier, and you have to recalibrate. Now, in the presence of different kinds of noises that comes to your system, right, you have two choices. One is that you, on the base model, on the original distribution, you keep the calibration error as low as possible. But when new noises, new kind of distribution, new kind of data comes in, right, your calibration error increases. So do you really want that? Or you would want something like this, that with the new noises coming in, your calibration error across all models, across all kinds of noises, possibly slightly increases, but the calibration error in principle, in general, remains invariant across distortions. So to us, the second option sounds more promising, right? In a particular sense, where we are using a base classifier, but we are not, again, retraining the network from scratch, because that is computationally expensive. Also, when you retrain a network, what happens is your change network will behave in a very different manner from your original network, right? So it is in this context, the title of the presentation makes sense, because we are bringing in a statistically powerful concept as quantiles, right? Starting from quantile regression all the way to the quantile classifiers that we are developing, right? Okay, because quantiles are, they usually come from asymmetric Laplacian distributions, and they are robust to higher calibration error, which we have been able to show experimentally, right? So, but the problem with pre-trained classifier says, in your pre-trained classifier, there is a loss function. It's already a loss function, right? So what we wanted to do, we wanted to come up with new quantile representations, which are decoupled from the loss function. So it doesn't really matter whatever loss function you choose, right? I mean, the inferences should not change. So we achieved this via a novel duality representation theorem that we proved, right? And this particular paper recently got accepted in a very prestigious conference, Uncertainty in Artificial Intelligence, UAI 2024, which will be held in Spain in July, right? So here you can see different kinds of applications here, right? And also what happens is, in many of these applications, particularly in transportation and logistics, right? I mean, people throw around boxes. You must have seen videos in YouTube, how airport porters throw around suitcases and stuff like that. So the action classification also comes very, very important. And here, I mean, while predicting a particular class, right, it's predicting its confidence of classification becomes very, very important. So these are pertinent questions. Now, some of these representations are compute expensive, so we have to do a mix by putting some of our models, pretty much the base model on the cloud, and all of the other inferences happen on device, like on sensors, on your mobile phones, and so on and so forth. And this block diagram roughly represents the workflow. So pretty much the point is this: the reason why current deep neural networks fail in quantifying uncertainty and also not very robust to distortions is because the reliance is too much on the cross entropy and the sigmoid functions, which are not able to capture uncertainty in latent distributions. So this is where we come up with our quantile representations, and you can see on the right in the boxes, you can see we have been able to publish in pretty good places, including IEEE transactions on artificial intelligence, IEEE transactions on computational biology, and so on and so forth, right? So what we do here, I mean, if you look
Excuse
at
me, sir, sorry for interrupting, but we are a
right.
bit tight with the time. So if you could just come to the conclusion within the next
Okay.
1 minute. Thank you so much. Sorry.
Yes. I was about to anyway. Yeah. So the point is this, that the robustness comes because our foundation models are robust to distortions, to several kinds of distortions, right? And the interpretability comes because we are presenting crisp mathematical models, right? At the same time, we are also ensuring the convergence of some of these models are really, really good, in the sense that the learning rates are automated, so that there is not an over reliance on the hyperparameters, there is no pre-training of the models, and so on and so forth, right? More importantly, the bottom line is we are making our classifiers distortion invariant, okay? And the latest in the pipeline is just a preprint that has come to archive, where we are proposing activation functions at the neuronal level, okay? All right, so bottom line is we are able to do classification confidence. We are able to present a metric for classification confidence, and we are able to show that when we should be withholding your predictions, instead of just arbitrarily predicting a sample point as a class 1 or class -1 or so on and so forth. And when you have a pretty solid confidence of whether that particular sample belongs to a class, right? So these are all numerical estimates which are interpretable, which also shows how far away from a particular confidence interval you are, how far away from a median you are, right? So also the additional advantage is we have been able to successfully apply this in anomaly detection in industrial systems, right? Okay, going forward, this is what we want to achieve. That when it comes to anomaly detection from univariate data to multivariate data, there is this problem of quantile crossing. We want to solve that problem. We also want to have zero, not constant calibration error, but zero calibration error across distortions, so that there is absolute match between the estimated probabilities and the observed probabilities, okay? And this is our consortium in the Indian consortium so far, right? And we are seeking scientific and scholarly collaboration within the European Union, right? And we are strongly interested to collaborate with statisticians and computer scientists who take a deep interest in uncertainty quantification with deep neural networks. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for presenting, the research work you're doing. Very interesting. And, hopefully there will be some kind of, consortium building up on that. We move next to our next speaker is Dr. Shubhankar Majumdar from the National Institute of Technology at Meghalaya from India. Dr. Majumdar, thank you so much for joining. And could you kindly share your screen with us? Perfect. Thank you. The floor is yours.
So thank you all for inviting me. So my project proposal is on something about the humanistic approach, that EURAXESS, a location invariant trustworthy AI model for predicting air pollutants, and a recommender system. As nowadays ChatGPT is going on, LLMs are there. Recommender system we are developing based on the sensor data. So these are my contacts. I am a assistant professor in National Institute of Technology, Meghalaya. So it's academia, and it's a institute of national importance, coming under an IRF ranking. So, okay, so my aim is to determine the location invariant AI model for predicting AI pollutants. Actually, we have developed a AI air pollutant sensors, which are deployed in India, as well as in Malaysia, as well as in Philippines under my ASEAN project. So we are gathering the whole data set from different places, and there we are trying to mitigate one certain issue which is known as imputing of the data. Means sometime due to the lack of the electrical connection, or due to the faultiness of the sensors, some data are missing. So first our AI model will able to make a data set which can impute itself, and then we will try to develop a AI model for the edge computing, which will be a lightweight AI model, which will be coupled on the processor itself, as we have done before. Before we were in the cloud domain, now we are shifting towards the edge processor level, because to increase the computation fast. So then we will be setting up these sensors everywhere. The more pollutant areas where the specific EU has some issues related to that, we will be setting our sensors there. And then from the sensor data, we will make a AI model which can easily able to recommend that what policy has to be changed, or what guidelines should be followed by by citizens to adopt the system. Then a location invariant, this is the last objective, a location invariant AI model which can run and predict accurately in the Indian scenario as well as in the European scenario. So this is my objective and topic to be addressed under this proposal. And then this is basically a real-time air monitoring, concentration prediction will be done. A trustworthy AI model which can impute the data if the sensor gets wrong, means giving the faulty data due to the any electrical surge or connection surge. Several types of things happens when we are going for a real-time implementation. Then the lightweight AI model which can work on the edge computing on the processor itself, and then the predictive AI by utilizing the LLMs, it can help to make a policy and guidelines which will be helpful for the policymakers to formulate effective environmental policies regarding that particular location. And then AI based recommender system for public awareness will be there. Then a last topic will be location invariant. The AI model, whatever has been developed under this program, that can be able to recognize or give output based on the data at Indian side as well as in the European side. And then under this work, we have till now published about 10 journal papers in IEEE IoT journal and sensors journal. And we are well organized, and we have trained manpower also. Those can be utilized as a postdocs for your labs under this program. And we have deployed, and currently we are getting the data from Malaysia and Philippines. So as a whole, we can help humanity in a larger periphery. Now, about my consortium, it is like two two persons have been shown interest. One is Dr. Chinmaya Dhuri, and one is from University Taro, Estonia, and one is Dr. Hemant from LNU, Sweden. So we want some industry partner to help us, and we want some faculty also, academia, to help us to develop this trustworthy location invariant AI models for predicting air pollution. As we have some expertise, as I am an electronics guy, so sensor development, sensor interface, and all that things have been taken care from my side as an Indian partner. And we have 8 years, more than 8 years experience on this type of IoT based system determination for prediction, recommender system, trustworthy AI system, and air pollution. We are also working on the disaster management like landslides. We have recently published some papers in IoT journal for landslide prediction. So I think that's all from my side. Yeah, I am on time, I think. Hello.
Yes, yes, you are on time. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Dr. Majumdar. It was a really interesting presentation, and also good to know that you already have partners in Europe who are interested in building a consortium. So that's already a very good step. So I hope after today's event, you will be, contacted by potential partners for further the elaboration on building a consortium. Thank you so much. And I see
Thank
already
you.
our next speaker, Dr. Vijay Rao from the Netherlands, is here with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. And you have already opened your screen and you're sharing your slides. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Samrat. So I represent LTI Mindtree. LTI Mindtree is a large public entity based out of the Larsen and Toubro group in India. Most of you would have heard L&T. LTI Mindtree is the IT solutions company out of Larsen and Toubro group. I'll introduce more about it, but the goal of our talk and presentation here is to present our Gen AI expertise and the kind of contributions we can make here. I work out of Amsterdam. So we have development centers mostly in India, but also we have presence in the Netherlands. About LTI Mindtree, it's a large public entity, as I mentioned, and I particularly come from a group called Technology Incubation Group, where we look at incubating upcoming technologies in Horizon 2, Horizon 3. And we also conduct applied research that is necessary for this one. My background has been in computer science all along. I also have a PhD from TU Delft. That means, and during that period, I have also developed extensive experience in writing and executing national and EU-funded projects. We have also submitted several projects through LTI Mindtree in the EU forum. So we understand how Horizon Europe and funding in Europe generally works. About LTI Mindtree's R&D development, I will not be able to go through everything due to lack of time, but generally we have a very good setup in order to do R&D. We have a good workforce to do the applied research, to exploit the research. Essentially, the goal is that we want to engineer the science by collaborating with academic partners and other startups who are developing the niche technologies. We are in a unique position to bridge between the industry and academia, the kind of research, because we talk to large clients and we want to scale the technology from startups, from academia, take it and deliver to what the industry needs. And we must note that exploitation or impact is a very important section in Horizon Europe calls. And LTI Mindtree is sort of ideally positioned to take that output and exploit it. That said, what are our topics of interest in the particular call text? As I mentioned, we are interested, or we have a Gen AI practice for enterprises. It's an extensive practice that has been existing for quite some time now. We have several PhDs out there who are doing applied research, patenting, as well as publishing. Particular topics that we're interested are, trustworthiness, verifiability, and reproducibility. As mentioned in the call text, large LLMs tend to hallucinate or generate non-factual information and these things. And we would like to verify or evaluate it by using a vulnerability detection framework. And we employ something called red teaming here. So the idea is we will construct prompts, and we will use those prompts to attack a certain LLM or the given LLM. And we get the output of that. We will verify if that output is matching what it should do, or wherever it doesn't match, we know that there is a vulnerability identified, right? And right now, some of this is manual. We would like to automate this again by employing LLMs. It's sort of recursive, but that will actually enhance and help the adoption of LLMs in large scale, right? This is what we find through our experience in deploying LLMs for our customers and so on. I will not elaborate on this topic, but I'd be happy to take a detailed discussion if anyone is interested on this particular topic, or if this fits into your project ideas, right? We can bring in this. and we can have a much more detailed technical deep dive on this. We can also do pilots or use cases execution. One use case execution that is particularly interesting at this moment for us is employing specialized LLMs or multiple small LLMs collaborating, making them collaborate with each other in order to generate this similar kind of output that would be generated by a large LLM, right? There are multiple reasons why multiple small LLMs are very important, or the direction is being researched upon actively, because current LLMs tend to be resource intensive, power hungry, and it also becomes sort of inaccessible to most enterprises because of the high subscription and deployment costs and so on. But if we do go for specialized and small LLMs, we can sort of figure out how to also deal with the practical challenges around it. We also have a customer who's interested in this, so we can probably look at getting them also onto the consortium, which makes the consortium stronger, and execute this as a point use case, right? So some part of this will, of course, be the science developed by academic partners. We will try to incorporate this into a pilot together with the customer to be executed. Again, due to lack of time, I'd be happy to take you through this, but due to lack of time, I will cut this short and we'll be happy to have deep dives separately. What is that we bring in? Yeah, as I mentioned, innovation and engineering is part of our DNA, and we have ER&D labs specifically doing that. And we have extensive deep AI expertise. We have been working on AI for a long time. We have a separate practice for that. And Gen AI, particularly for enterprises, is something that we have been focusing on over the past few years. Apart from this, I'd like to mention that we have a good academia and startup ecosystem. While we are a large enterprise, we are not a product company. We are a software systems integrator. That means we happily work with startups and academia partners to take their products, their ideas to scale for the industry. We are already in touch with and having preliminary talks with TU Delft in the Netherlands, and also with IISc in Bangalore. And we can participate both from Netherlands and India. So one part we'd like to execute from Netherlands and other part from India. So we are sort of, bridging the gap there as well. As a software systems integrator, we can do more things that are necessary for the project. That's the typical way we do that for Horizon Europe projects, where building the systems, prototypes are something that we definitely take up as an activity. So if you do find interesting about what I've presented, or if you have other thoughts, we are open to have open discussions with you. And we would like to join your consortiums so that we can achieve together more. Thank you. That was a short pitch.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. Very, very interesting presentation. Also, thank you for showcasing the expertise your organization has, and also the capacity to be both in Europe and in India. I think that's quite a great advantage, for a consortium. And with that, we move to our next presenter, which is Professor Elena Gora from Coventry University. Professor Gora, thank you so much for joining, and you have already put up your presentation. Perfect. Floor is yours.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I hope I'll manage the slides relatively well. And I also hope I'm going to be brief. I was very concerned that by the time I come into the agenda, I wouldn't have anything new to say. But luckily, I think we have an angle and an offer here for expertise that hasn't necessarily been aired in the presentation so far. So I come from Coventry University in the UK. Clearly, we are looking to partner rather than lead. due to our eligibility conditions. Our university is the largest in the UK with a very strong research base, and I have the privilege of leading AI across our Coventry University group. We have about 500 researchers, not all in AI, but probably a good 100 of them have preoccupations that connect to AI, industry and health, the public sectors and the communities. We have a good habit of collaborating internationally, and indeed, I think a wealth of collaborations, many of those in India, and I apologize for the quality of the slide. I'm particularly keen to work in India again. I run a number of large programs in India, particularly for women in science, and I had taken most reward from doing so. I think I visited India at least a dozen times in the past 5 years, and I would like to start again should we be welcomed in any consortia for this particular program, and also should we be awarded, of course. So for me, the topic I would like to bring to bear is that of translation of trust. We embed trust by the way we devise the technology. We have an awful lot. We've heard also today an awful lot of ideas about making AI more trustworthy, all from a very technological, computer science, theoretical and verifiable end. But I think my angle here is to ensure that whenever we talk about AI for the sectors, we also care about how do we translate our technologies, robust as they are, into trusted technologies on the ground by the people that are using them, by the people that are leading their decisions based on the AI we build. So the research center that I would like to put forward today has about 35 PhD students and probably around 20 researchers that work across Coventry University with all of the sector areas in the arena of AI from a computer science viewpoint. Some of the people in the center are theoretical computer scientists, some are applied computer scientists, some are engineers, and we also have social scientists, because we figured a few years ago that without bringing the social sciences into the wrappers around our AI products, we are not going to fare very well at all in the practice domain. So with the advent of ethics, robustness, transparency for AI, we feel that we are well positioned to talk about the practicing of the AI ethics and bring that aspect into the call today. So why do I feel it's important? Well, the academe actually takes for granted the notion of ethics and robustness and trust. We work on them. We try to abide by the rules that are imposed by these notions, but we ignore the fact that there isn't out there a culture of understanding ethics. There is a culture in the industry and in the health sector of abiding by rules and guidelines, but not necessarily a culture of ethics. We have regulations, we have legislation, but not necessarily a culture around the very point of ethics. The developments are also building up at an incredible pace, and we are pushing out more and more advanced and complex technology, but leaving behind, I think, an awful lot of the users of that technology. And there is evidence in every arena now on the gap that has been created between the technology ability and between the people's ability to understand the technology, act on the technology, and judge the merits of the decisions that would be propagated from that technology. So possible solution to remedy that gap, shifting culture towards collective responsibility, robust, ethical, and trustworthy AI by design, and we heard quite a bit about that in the previous talks. I would like to draw attention to literacy, and literacy not as basic literacy, but just to note that we haven't managed to even maybe produce the right level of literacy in the sectors and our beneficiaries and end users for data. No wonder AI that it's thriving on that data. So we've got 2 steps of remedial work on literacy to do there, and also the fact that we can't possibly propose to move on with development in AI other than through multidisciplinary design, implementation, commissioning, and use of system life cycles. So whole society design for any AI is what we are promoting, and we have the means, methods, and pathways to realize those designs with the whole of the society. So we are bringing in a methodological approach, know-how, empowerment tools for both AI developers, implementers, but also for end users. Maybe some attention to setting benchmarks for ethical and inclusive, transparent AI development. A little bit of care and attention for the whole supply chain of that AI, from the inception of the idea to the maintenance of the AI when it's used in practice, and end of life for the AI products that we are shifting about. And also we have a lot of know-how in supporting researchers and practitioners in reflecting and critically evaluating their work. So all of those social sciencey mechanisms that you wrap around the technology are something that we would like to put forward, in addition to our core fundamental AI and applied research AI applied research in AI experience. We do have a very broad understanding with evidence of that understanding gained from energy and health sectors on a number of projects where we try to figure the level of apprehension around ethics and data, the ethics of AI and the ethics of data use in those sectors, and we'll bring that to bear as well in our contributions. This is it from me. I hope it wasn't too fast, and I hope I haven't taken more time than I was allocated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Gora. This was perfectly well in time, and thank you for this excellent presentation, and also, offering your expertise and your interest in this call. And it's good to have the UK back. Thank you. And we go next to Professor Biszek from Warsaw University of Technology in Poland. Very good day to you, Professor, and your slides are already there. Floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much for opportunity of sharing actually two opportunities for collaboration. So today I have two hats. I represent two communities, and I will briefly talk about both opportunities. So the main kind of topic of interest for this presentation is red teaming of AI models, and I will tell later how it is related with robustness and explainability. So my name is Professor Bieszek. I'm from Warsaw University of Technology from Poland, which is a member state. Okay, so let's move forward. I said two opportunities. One is related with the Global Partnership of Artificial Intelligence. This is a group of experts from different countries, and I'm an expert from the Responsible AI Working Group. And in this group, especially you have a sub-working group focused on social media governance. And the group is very active. It has experts from many countries, also from India. Like last year, actually the summit of GPAI was in India. And you may find on its website some technical reports. And one of them is rated with pilot study that was actually developed in India. It is rated with harmful and toxic speech content classifiers that might be used in social media. So as you see here, there is a variety of experts from different countries, and we are very interested in collaboration in social media related topics. But the main opportunity for collaboration that I want to share with you is actually related with red teaming. So maybe a few words about red teaming, what it is. And this will be based on the ICML paper that will be published this year in collaboration with Professor Wojciech Samek from Berlin. So basically here, in this paper, we showed that the explainability can be presented from two angles. One is, let's say, value-oriented, and there is a lot of issues related with ethics, trust, legal issues, responsibility. But there is also a very interesting validation-oriented approach to XAI, which is more focused on exploration, debugging, and research, knowledge extraction from AI models. And in this paper, we show that there is a great opportunity for researchers to develop new models for this red teaming of AI models. So let me show you some examples on this, but first I will shortly introduce the team, that is research team that is working on this MI2 data lab. Okay, so two examples. One will be related with segment anything model. So this is a very popular model for segmentation, which was developed by Meta last year. And this year we showed how to red team segment anything model. And these results we presented at CVPR conference next month. And here is the graphical abstract. Basically, we showed that there are plenty of opportunities to actually attack in adversarial manner the segment anything model to change the segmentation masks. So even model developed by these giants like Meta, even then they can be attacked. So we showed how they can be attacked. You can actually manipulate the segmenting mask in any possible way. And also in this paper, we showed how to strengthen the model. What can be do to actually make the model more robust? What are the actions, defenses for these attacks? So it's not only how to attack the model, but also how to build more safe, more robust models. So this was one example. And a second example is in cooperation with European Space Agency. So again, this is a publication that was presented last month at ICLR conference, and is related with red teaming hyperspectral images, models for hyperspectral images that are used in Earth observation. And here we showed that having models that are used for this information about estimation of soil parameters for Earth observation, you can use the red teaming techniques to actually understand which bounds are the most important, how particular features are linked with the model output, and then you can first attack the model, but also extract information that allows you to build a smaller, more robust model based on information that you have extracted. So that's all from my side. Here's the information that you can use to contact with me. And if you see an opportunity in your project for red teaming, I will be very happy to talk. I saw a lot of projects related to building a model, but it's very important to have also a team that will stress test, that will validate, that will red team your model just to make sure that it's really robust and it's working correctly. So thank you for the opportunity of sharing these slides.
Thank you so much, Professor Bitek. A very interesting research area you have, and hopefully you will, find partners for a consortium to apply for this call. And we go now to Professor Dimitris Iacovidis from the University of Thessaloniki in Greece. Professor Iacovidis, thank you so much for joining, and I already see your slides are up. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm Dimitris Iacovidis. I'm professor of signal processing and decision support system at the University of Thessaloniki in Greece. Our university is located in central Greece. Central Greece. We are the third largest university in our country, and it has premises in 5 different cities. First, I would like to introduce you to my research team, which consists of 15 researchers with focus on signal image analysis, computer vision, robotics, and control systems. We have experience and interest in a broader spectrum of applications that include biomedicine, robotics, even cultural heritage. Some facts about our lab. It belongs to the Department of Computer Science and Biomedical Informatics of the University of Thessaloniki. It is ranked among the 5% of the universities in EU. We have, as a lab, more than 400 publications and 2 patents pending. We have recently published 10 papers on explainable machine learning. These papers present novel, generic, inherently interpretable systems that can render current machine learning systems interpretable. They are uncertainty tolerant, using linguistic data interpretations based on fuzzy logic. They provide explanations based on causality, similarity, and perceptual features. and they are suitable for both structured and unstructured data, including signals and images. We have 5 projects currently funded from Horizon Europe. 2 of them are very recent. The 2 of them address synthetic data generation using deep learning techniques and also intelligent ingestible devices. We have also projects in robotics. The rest of them projects are on robotics. Furthermore, we have a petascale cloud computing platform with more than 200,000 GPU cores for efficient experimentation and deep learning. We have developed in-house cloud computing services for real-time data acquisition from external sensors and streaming. We have robotic arms, 3D printers, and as you see, a lot of things that are very useful in our research and in the project as well. Modern premises for more than 30 researchers and high-level workstations. I will provide you with some information about our current methods. We have 3 different methods, approaches to offer interpretable or explainable machine learning. Here's, for example, the EPU CNN approach. This is a pluribus unum CNN. Which means one out of many one. This framework can be used to render any CNN interpretable. CNN is a convolutional neural network offering explanation regarding the inferences of the CNN based on perceptual features such as color and texture. It receives an image, which is automatically decomposed into color and texture components, each of which is entered into the CNN, and it outputs humanly understandable explanations based on semantics related to color and texture. More importantly, the explanations are enriched by visual indicators, which explain which parts of the input image are responsible for the obtained classification results. So let us consider here the example that we have. Let's say that we have a classifier, a CNN that is tasked to classify bananas and apples. Here we can see the result of the classifier on the right. We have the banana, which is classified as a banana because it has a bright yellow body. We can see this in the images on the right, the first and the third image. And we can see also the parts of the images which are responsible for this decision. We can see that we have here in the green-red areas highlighted the areas where most bananas are green. And also the texture of the banana looks like with the texture of most bananas in training set. And these are the areas indicating where this texture has been found. Another approach, the former approach was published in scientific reports recently. This one has been published in Information Sciences. It's based on the so-called fuzzy similarity phrases. This is a concept that we introduced. It receives any data as input. It automatically extracts rules from data in the form of linguistically expressible phrases. They are easier interpretable because it produces fewer rules than state-of-the-art methods. They are also uncertainty aware and noise tolerant, and also tolerant to missing values. So here's an example why this input image is classified as a bus. This is an example with images, but it can work with any kind of data. It is more easily comprehensible. So it makes comparisons. So it says that if similarity between an input image and the main dish image is low, and if the input image and the similarity between the input image and the dessert is low, etc., and also comparing with buses, high similarity, medium similarity, high similarity, then the bus, this image is classified as a bus. This is a simplified concept, presentation of the concept. You can find more details in our paper, which is fuzzy similarity phrases for interpretable data classification, where you can see that we have several different kinds of modalities, data, and also you can see how well it can scale in very large data sets. A third approach that we have proposed is based on causal fuzzy graphs. Causality is very important for explainability. So we have focused on this, and we have made this method, which extracts a vocabulary of semantically relevant concepts. It automatically extracts causal relations between these concepts and creates a fuzzy cognitive map graph. It classifies data after reasoning performed on that graph, and it is also uncertainty aware and noise tolerant. So here's an example why this input image can be classified as an elephant. The answer is that the approach identifies specific regions in the image which are more similar to the respective parts of the image that belong to the elephants in the data set. So we have a result here describing that there's a high similarity of this image with these patterns identified in these images. So conclusively, we have our unique experience and contribution in the consortium can be state-of-the-art explainable machine learning methods and novel ideas for progressing beyond the state-of-the-art on the line that we showed you. We can develop links and enhance interaction between relevant ongoing EU projects, starting from the ones that we already participate during the project implementation. We have access to a network of industrial partners and hospitals. The generality of our methods enables applicability on almost any case study. And we have experience from previous projects and case studies that include, but not limited to, biomedical applications, robotics, cultural heritage. I should also note that in most projects that we have participated, we have contributed with more than 15 paper publications per project, and
I'm not sure if we just lost Professor Iacovidis. Okay, we lost him. Okay. But I think he was anyway reaching the end of his presentation, so we can just, move into our next presenter, which is Miss Emilia Gioroaica from the Fraunhofer Institute for Experimental Software Engineering, Germany. Miss Emilia, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much.
Great. Yes. Yes, so we are from Fraunhofer IESE, which is an academic institution, a research institute, placed in Kaiserslautern, Germany. So what we're doing is to engineer dependable AI system. And we aim to have techniques, methods, and solutions to assure that AI systems are safe, are reliable, and trustworthy, especially in critical applications in Industry 4.0 and in the medical domain as well. We are specialized in dependable systems and software engineering for AI for quite some time. We have an experience of 25 years now. And we have a range of activities that are centered about AI, trustworthiness, virtual validation, and safety assurance. So in respect to the AI strategy development, we are crafting and tailoring AI strategies to meet the business goals and the regulatory requirements. As a matter of fact, this is one of our main focus to be compliant with the normative requirements in order to ensure that the solutions have adherence to legal standards for example, to AI Act, which has also been released 2 days ago, the new one, to ethical guidelines for trustworthy AI. We have engineering activities that are centered around validating the AI solution in comprehensive manners for enabling auditing processes in order to ensure that the AI-based systems function safely and as intended. So why our partners are typically interested to collaborate with us is because we have a core mission to bring research into industry and to bridge the gap between applied research and industrial practice. And within research projects, we often facilitate this transfer from technology into use cases based on our experience and from the research back into industry. We always employ a holistic approach, which means from the strategy definition to implementation and validation of the solutions. And we cover the entire AI lifecycle. We have in-house multidisciplinary experience, and we're combining software engineering with data science, with dependability engineering and innovation strategy. And we have quite a lot of experience in participating in cutting-edge funded projects and research and industrial projects, and also we are actively engaged into standardizations effort. And we have a long history in successful European projects. Yep. And you can read, of course, more about us at the link that will be in the presentation. Okay, so that's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emilia, for your presentation and presenting your institute and the expertise you have. And our next presenter is Dr. Pavel Škrabanek from the Mendel University in Brno, Czechia. Dr. Pavel, kindly if you could share your screen.
Yes. Give me a second. I have to find the presentation. Okay. So, can you see the presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet. Now?
But it's coming. Yeah, it's there.
Perfect. Thank you. So, as you heard, my name is Pavel Škrabanek, and I work at the Mendel University in Brno as an associate professor in computer vision and machine vision. However, I would like to present a whole department of the informatics and its ongoing research in artificial intelligence. So the Mendel University in Brno is oriented mainly on the practical applications, and we have a cooperation with the industry, partners from industry, as well as with partners from the state authorities. I can say that there are 3 areas related to the artificial intelligence in which we are active. And the first is general machine learning, in which we solve projects for the analysis of data, especially data in textual form. And and we grouped the acquired knowledge according to the similarity of the information encoded in the text. The second area in which we are active is computer vision and let's say machine vision. So I mean the application of computer vision in industry. Here I would like to mention an ongoing project, Greenhouse 4.0, where we collected the data related to the agriculture, and we also propose algorithms for the processing of the data, including the images, hyperspectral images acquired within the greenhouse. And the third area which I would like to mention here is the natural language processing. The Actually, as you probably already realized, the machine learning was also related somehow to the natural language processing, and the natural language processing is a very active and well-publishing group. And here I would like to mention at least one ongoing project is a new one related to the development of chatbot, where the chatbot should be able to analyze the textual data and explain the data or results to the user if the user will want to get some explanation. I would like to also mention a very important fact that my department is Department of Informatics, and we have a lot of people which are able to develop some applications. We have experience in the development of web applications, mobile application, augmented reality application, or as I already mentioned, in development of chatbot. And as I told you, my area is, let's say, machine vision. And I would like to mention here also the fact that we have a well-equipped lab in which we have a lot of lenses, filters, lights, cameras, including hyperspectral cameras, which allow us to collect a huge amount of the data which can be used for the development of artificial intelligence algorithms. So if I will summarize what I already mentioned, we are not, let's say, the research, we are not so strong in the research, but we are very good in the application of the methods in the practice. So here within this Horizon projects, we could help a lot of by the proof of concept, including the data gathering. We can gather data from texture databases as well as we can create a new data set using the machine vision instrumentation. We can ensure the user testing, or we can develop some applications. Of course, we are able to participate by the dissemination. So thank you for attention, and that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Professor Schrabanek, for presenting your expertise and the strength you could bring into a potential consortium with your background and your university. I would like now to welcome our next speaker, which is Dr. Prabhat K. Mishra from Jawaharlal Nehru University in India. Dr. Prabhat, thank you so much. And you already have put up your slide. Perfect. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Samrat, and thank you for providing this opportunity. And as I was listening to all of the presentations, I got really inspired, and I think that our team can collaborate with a lot of the projects that have been mentioned here, and all of them are very inspiring. So I just want to begin my presentation by talking about the area that we work in. And it's about trustworthy AI and how do we bridge the distance between ethical principles on one hand and the technical practices on the other. So I'll first introduce the team and then move backwards. So our team has advanced doctoral scholars like myself and faculty members and other researchers from the Center for the Study of Law and Governance at Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi, India. Ours is an advanced multidisciplinary center, and we have various PhD scholars and faculty members who are, say, sociologists, economists, legal experts, and so on. So our strength is interdisciplinary backgrounds in these fields, and our particular research group works on law and technology and technology policy in general. We've worked on data protection, facial recognition technology, and so on. We see that a major point in this proposal call for projects is alignment with the European AI regulations. And that is an area where we think that we can contribute or collaborate with other partners. So how do you adhere to ethical norms or ethical principles that are outlined in these high-level documents? We see that globally there is a convergence between at the multilateral level on the kind of principles that we need to follow. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty and when it comes to the non-ideal circumstances, something that this call for proposals is particularly interested in, we see that there is confusion, not a lot of agreement. So in those areas, how do you implement ethics and ethical principles and legal requirements in not so ideal circumstances? So I'll just give a brief idea of the kind of work that we have been doing. So we have really started from a first principles approach at understanding what is trustworthy AI. We are trying to make theoretical contributions and also doing empirical case studies in various jurisdictions. And the issues that we are trying to look at are, how do you incorporate normative values, these broad values that are outlined in these documents in the AI systems that we develop and then we put forward for use. So essentially, and we all know that incorporating ethics is something that is to be followed throughout the life cycle of the technology. So from concept to commerce, we have to look at how to comply and how to incorporate with the legal requirements. And studies show that this process essentially enhances the kind of impact that innovations have on society. So for thinking about explainable and robust AI, we start from the frameworks in which AI is fashioned and operates. We look at it from a property theory lens, and we have made a theoretical innovation where we look at how AI is apportioning resources in order to elicit trust for every for every kind of stakeholder. And I'd be very happy to talk about this, but time is of essence, so I'll just skip this and come to the second aspect of it, where we are essentially dealing with the idea of trust as a D minimum for safeguarding the interest of all the stakeholders. It could be public interest, it could be protecting your IP in the AI ecosystem, or it could be launching a product for the general public. And we seek to work with practitioners in these areas, and especially practitioners who provide AI and robotic solutions that the requirements of trustworthy AI. These are some of the research questions. We can talk about this in the discussion later on. Finally, I just want to say that we are looking for Indian and European collaborators who are interested in working with us in a multidisciplinary setting and who want to work with us to advance robust and explainable AI. And we are happy to collaborate with all kinds of groupings, and especially groupings that are targeting generative AI. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. And I'd be happy to hear from you through this email ID. And thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prabhat, for a very interesting approach to the call, especially the ethical norms, which are very important also. And I think would be your background would be a perfect contribution to a consortium. So really hoping that some developments will happen after today's brokerage event. And with that, I would like to welcome our next speaker, which is Dr. Nimisha Singh from Symbiosis International University in India. Dr. Nimisha, thank you so much for joining. And I see also your slides are up. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, hello everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the project that I'm going to be talking about is around AI fairness. And so far we have seen technical presentations of how to make it robust. And when you're looking at the robust definition, there could be a lot of things what it means. It could be, are we talking about privacy? Are we talking about fairness, ethical considerations, or like in the last presentation also. So here I'm talking about AI fairness. And basically, I'm taking this approach of socio-technical approach that I had been using in past few researches that I have done, whether it's with predictive analytics or cybersecurity or project management. Socio-technical, when we want to make it robust, you need to have some kind of evaluation mechanism also. How are you going to evaluate whether something is robust or not? So I'm proposing a socio-tech. So it's not the entire complete project idea. It could be integrated somewhere. No, proposing a socio-technical approach to evaluating, and here I'm taking the context as AI fairness. And why do we need to take a socio-technical approach? Number one, all the algorithms that we are talking about, there are social and technical constructions, right? So technical aspects, we already know how algorithms are made. When we're talking about the social context, the data that is collected, most part, this data is constructed by the humans, right? So whatever inherent biases that we have, that will also, or the power relationships that we have, that will be exhibited in the data. Then when we're talking about algorithms, developing the algorithm, so it's the developers. So we all have our own perspectives, right? Depending our perceptions, and we all have our inherent biases. So I don't mean anything negative when I use the term bias. What I mean is the perception, so the social context in which we were raised, or the cultural or societal norms, or education or expertise. So we form some kind of viewpoint about a thing. And that gradually that becomes limited, and we tend to ignore some of the things. So that's how we're talking about when the developers were making the approach that they are taking. So some biases may creep into that, and the algorithm will not be fair. And of course, the processes that the organization has, everything contributes to, something unfairness coming into the algorithm, right? Second thing is, when we're talking about evaluating the algorithm, what approach are we taking? Mostly it's the statistical approach that we take, that what is the predictive performance, which is highly, highly important. But at the same time, what are the societal norms it is addressing, right? Is it meeting those things? So I have just given an example as fairness, that we need to strike a balance about fairness and the predictive performance. And this fairness definition also varies with the context, right? In the medical terms, fairness would mean something else. When we're talking about distributive justice or something, fairness would mean something else. So the context is also very important. So that again goes back to the social aspect. And if you want a stable system, so the research in the field of information system is pointing out now that if you want a stable product, ICT product, in this case AI, your technical output, that is the output of this algorithm, must align with the outcomes that the society is expecting, the fair outcomes that is society expecting. So here again, we may look at, when we're talking about the output, that is, if you're taking predictive accuracy, so are you balancing it with fairness or privacy or data sensitivity or so many other things that some of the presenters have already talked about, right? Talking about the consortium, so I'm exploring to form a team or be part of a team where I can, contribute this aspect, that what is the socio-technical evaluation. And the partners I would look forward is information systems, computer science, and in case some university already has AI center or some kind of technology ethics center, something like that, it really helps, to form the project quickly. Little bit about me. This is my recent researches that I have. The first one is, you see, is the socio-technical perspective for explicit unfairness mitigation. And rest of quite a few of my research has focused on unintended consequences of technology, or taking a socio-technical or human-centered approach, whether it's predictive analytics or is it project management. So this is all about it, and I look forward to forming, be part of one of the teams and make the contribution that I can make. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I had to rush through because of I think it's coming to the closure of the presentation, so I had to rush through. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much for keeping the time in mind, and also I think a very interesting approach you have with the social technical aspects of of AI, and I think this would be a very important contribution also to a project, a consortium. And with that, we reach to our final speaker of today, Dr. Bhushan Kumar Dutta. He's from Amit University, based in Kolkata, India. Dr. Bhushan Kumar, thank you so much for joining. Nice to see you. And the floor is yours. Thank you. If you could just unmute your mic, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, Dr. Samrat sir, and the rest of the guests. I have been really been relishing all the ideas, and I've tried to come up with something on my own if we could do it. So, firstly, coming to the talk, is my screen visible, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. So this is what we are all working on, is on explainable AI. So what is AI? AI is doing computers to do some human-like tasks and work, especially with the type of data that we have at this point of time. And there have been several studies which have highlighted potential of AI algorithms, including the deep learning models. So what we will be doing work on is on explainable AI for geographic orthography detection. So the topic that we are trying to address, we have been working on this, is how we can identify the potential of explainable AI for improving the clinical adoption of explainable AI learning-based models in ophthalmology. As we need some kind of an AI-based system for predicting the risks of progression from intermediate level of AMD to advanced forms like neovascular AMD and geographic atrophy detection in the retina by analyzing the OCT scans. And in this case, we normally need to study different type of retinal layers and combine them to determine the areas of atrophy. So what we want to present, or what we work to on, is to provide a reliable and reproducible atrophy detection approach that will align with clinical assessments and address the significant observer variability in manually grading atrophic regions. And accurate and consistent atrophy quantification is increasingly becoming important as promising geographic atrophy treatments will advance through clinical trials. So this is the normal the diagram of a normal eye, as well as case of a dry AMD and wet AMD. So geographic atrophy is a growing eye disease which has affected more than 5 million people across the world and causes vision loss. And early detection is critical for treatment in terms of the dilution, as well as in terms of identifying the nature of the disease. Use of AMD will be able to detect some specific structural features related to AMD progression, as well as drusen and geographic atrophy compared to human graders. So there are two types of AMD. One is the dry, the other is the wet AMD, and the geographic atrophy is an advanced form of dry AMD that causes permanent damage to the retina and leads to irreversible vision loss in the central field of vision. So in the dry AMD, it's an unusually fuzzy or distorted vision, whereas in the wet AMD, there is a blind spot in the center of the field of vision. So what the explainable AI normally will be able to do in case of patients is crucial for advancing the understanding and management of the geographic atrophy as an interdisciplinary study, as well as identify the variability between the graders through a multimodal solution. And it will give faster benefits compared to human graders and improve consistency in GA detection. So normally there are different types of mechanisms already available in terms of human grading. Is the ART simplified severity approach and the KC online AMD risk calculator approach. But those are preliminary, because in that case, the workload for an ophthalmologist increases day by day, and using AI can automate the task to make the system. And also this system can be used for any kinds of a personalized treatment strategy, or retinal imaging, or AI and machine learning, and clinical use or clinical practice. So the topics that retinal image modality involves are the fundus autofluorescence and the optical coherence tomography and the color fundus photography imaging. So although we don't have access to the color fundus photography, but with the help of some of my collaborators whom I've recently have started working with, we are trying to identify us and make a certain mechanism, although this mechanism involves this the foveal midpoint for both the participants and capture these images. So these images were captured, and these images are to be uploaded into an AI system and translate that AI system into a significant process whereby we can overcome the technical validation and the approval and integration to a clinical workflow based system. So for this process, we have proposed a kind of a solution where we will take explainable AI model and create a kind of a GradCam module which will generate heat maps and highlight image regions which will be most influential for the model's decision making process for a clinician. So normally the mechanisms that are available is the detection of the AMD from fundus and the classification of the severity of the model and the prediction of the course of AMD over, let's say, like 10 years of time. So the severity factor that exists or has been studied till now is normally able to predict, like, let's say, not in the case of healthy eyes, it's able to predict in case of eyes which are already in a blunt state. So if we can predict like next 10 years, it will be really good. So for this, we need some kind of an improved decision modeling process. So although there are models or variants which are already available, but there are some studies which are to be conducted, and here we are trying to focus our study. And this includes like a local identification of a single lesion progression and a multi-lesion progression, and make separate models for that using some local analysis techniques, or for multi-lesion using some global analysis techniques. Next is making an uncertainty analysis for creation of how the experimental errors are going to happen, and what kind of uncertainty modeling processes can be used to find the differences between those methods over a period of time. So with this, we have the following steps that we have kept in the picture. So creating a data pre-processing, then create a model, architecture based model, and then a training process, ensemble learning, and finally to create an explainability model, which we can do using GradCam online. So this is what we have tried to find out, and then visualize the regions of the fundus image that will contribute most to the G detection. So keeping all these things in mind, we have worked on the following things, and we need assistance in terms of the literature review and the references and the other information. So these are the keywords. This was mentioned in the project as we need to mention the keywords. So I'm also mentioning the following keywords: geographic atrophy, then age-related macular degeneration, the AMD that we were speaking of at this point of time, then the screening approaches that we should maintain, what kind of clinical decision support systems that we should cover in the progress. So as of now, the specializations who will be covered by this project is definitely ophthalmologists and retina specialists, next computer vision machine learning experts, and so far the consortium who have started already working with me is Professor Dr. Ibrahim Matar, who is from University of Bahrain, and quite a known figure on robotics and cybernetics, and Srinivas Sadda. I've spoken with him, and he is also giving us some kind of a known data set because these are all not FDA approved. We need to get first a kind of a data set, test it. We are trying to process it on our own way, and we need some kind of a support from the European different research organizations, as well as some kind of an industry aspect that will provide feedback on the explainability model, as well as the kind of interpretability support that may be needed from the different patient advocacy groups in this case, because this will require some kind of a healthcare administrators as well as some kind of a advocacy groups who will actually pertain the roles of the AI engineer to the patient themselves. So saying all these things, I would like to take this over to the audience, and thank you for giving me this time and opportunity to present.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dutta, for very interesting presentation. And of course, you have like summarized very well, the expertise and also the form of partners you're looking at. Now, I'm very surprised that we are in time. We made it in time. That is a big thanks to all the presenters who have been with us here, and of course to all the participants who were very eager and attentive to know more about the call and the possibilities to collaborate. It is now exactly 1 o'clock in Europe, and it is 4:30 in India. So I think we can be very, proud of ourselves that we managed to have such a, a large a lineup of speakers and presentations in the given time of this webinar, and it has been very, I think, very interactive, very fruitive, and very informative. So once again, a big thanks to all the presenters and the participants. I would like to invite Dr. Vivek Dham to give like the final concluding remarks. Vivek, it has been a very interesting webinar, right?
Yeah, thanks, Samrat, and thanks to all the participants and presenters who were fantastic presentations and all disciplines, multidisciplinary approach. So that is what we are expecting. So before I close, I will just give you maybe two keywords or the inputs which could be of importance and the relevance to you. The first thing is to make yourself visible so that you are available for partnership, is known to each other in India as well as in Europe. What we are going to do after the event, Samrat normally uploads all the presentations on the websites, including the recording of this thing, so you can always get access to that. Those who have not managed to make a presentation but still interested and want to make availability visible to other people, they can always send 1 or 2 slides to Samrat with their contact details and the keywords, so that we will upload those information on the website. Because of the GDPR rule, we will not able to share the participant contact details with with anyone. So that is one way that if you want to be visible, you want to express your interest, please share 1 or 2 slides with the keywords and the contact details with Samrat. The second point is, don't wait for the last minute, because sometimes technical glitches or the website doesn't work. So my suggestion is to start early and submit in advance. So that is the key. A lot of people last time had an issue with the submission last day. And the third point is, I just calculate 116 days to be precise in hand to put forward all the best proposals in the system. So consider the European holidays, because the Europeans will take normally the holidays in June, July or August. So please consider those spans when you are preparing proposals with the Europeans. So these are the keywords, and we wish you all the best, and we look forward and best proposals to receive. We will help you wherever possible, specifically any technical details if you want from DST, you can always write to Dr. Mahak or any other things. But as such, the matchmaking, we will not go into the business because of the funders limitation of conflict of interest. And with that, I stop it here and wish you all the best, and hope to see you in a selected proposal soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vivek. And this is now the ball is with you now, and I think we provided that platform to interact, to engage, to do a bit of matchmaking for you and to look out for partners. But we are very optimistic that there will be some very interesting consortiums and some very interesting proposals coming from this EU-India collaboration. Wishing you all a very good rest of the day and a good weekend. Thank you so much. And as Vivek said, we will share, of course, the recording and the presentation contacts of the presenters with all of you. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.